Hi, my name is Phoenix. I'm the College Success Professor. On this channel, I talk about the mindsets, strategies, and methodology that you need to know in order to be successful in college and in life after college. In this video, I'm going to talk about fears and the mindsets and beliefs that can hold you back from being successful in college and in life. So if you're interested in learning all about that, then let's get started. So, fear can hold you back in college and in life for a number of reasons. It can paralyze you, it can make you think that you should not speak out when you should, it can make you miss out on opportunities, and it can help you or hurt you by thinking that you cannot be your true self. So, in order to stop being paralyzed by our fears, we're going to talk about 4 specific fears that can hold you back and what you can do to make sure that they don't hold you back in college and in life. So, the first fear I'm going to talk about is the fear of rejection. And this is a big one, whether you're in college, whether you're in middle school, whether you're in high school, or just in life. So, the fear of rejection can come in many forms in college. It can come in the way of the imposter syndrome. If you've ever heard of that, it's the feeling that you don't belong. It's the feeling that you're a fraud. It's the feeling that you're going to be found out one day, that you're really not smart enough, that you're really not good enough, that you're not, capable and able to be successful. And this comes in many forms in college, and it can help you or hurt you by feeling like you don't fit in, you don't belong, you're not, a student who belongs on that campus, you're not worthy to be a student. And there are many thoughts that go through your mind when you're having this fear of rejection. For example, you have a belief that the professor doesn't like you, or the professor has something against you when you're in classes. You have a fear of speaking up, or talking or participating in class, because you think if you say something, people are going to think you're stupid. So when you're struggling with this fear in college and in the academic classroom or in the academic environment, you should know that this quote that I love and I found it so helpful, is that, let me read it. It's, rejection is nothing more than a necessary step in the pursuit of success. So although you may think that, the fear of rejection may be so overwhelming that you're not letting you speak up in class, it's not letting you do things that you want to do, it's not letting you speak out. For example, if you have a roommate situation and you are in such afraid of being rejected, or not getting along with your roommate, you're not speaking out when something is bothering you. You're not speaking out when something is not going exactly right. So this fear of rejection is something that you need to have a shifted mindset about. It needs to be something that you speak out about. It needs to be something that that usually, even if it is actually going to be a rejecting situation, that it'll be okay. It'll be something that you learn from and something that you can survive. The second fear that I wanted to talk about is the fear of ruining everything. So you're afraid to make the mistake, you're afraid to make the wrong decision because you fear that it'll ruin everything in your life. So the fear of ruin, or the fear of ruining everything, can hold you back from taking risk. And during your college years, it's so important for you to take risk, and so important for you to put yourself out there, so important for you to do so many things that you may not have another opportunity in your life for doing. And so when we talk about the fear of ruining everything, we think of it in 2 different ways: catastrophizing and perfectionism. So perfectionism is, you want everything to be perfect. You want everything to be exactly as it should be before you turn in the assignment, before you accept that you have done enough. You work very, very hard. You're looking for approval from faculty. You're looking for approval from your friends. You don't allow yourself to make any mistakes. And that can have a detrimental effect on your mindset. You're working, you don't have the balance. You're not going out, you're not socializing, you're not having friends, because you think you have to make sure you have a 4.0 or a certain GPA so that you're perfect and you're perceived as perfect by other people's. But it's a hard standard to take while you're in college, to have that 4.0 or to be perfect in all regards. And it's a hard facade to keep up in your life. The other part or idea with regard to the fear of ruining everything is the fear that you're going to make a mistake. And when you do make a mistake, it's a big catastrophe. It's the worst thing that ever could happen. You might as well give up. You might as well drop out. You might as well not pursue your goals and your dreams, because this one mistake is going to ruin the rest of your life. You're not going to be able to be a doctor. You're not going to be able to be an engineer. You're not going to be able to go to grad school. So this idea or this mindset of catastrophizing or fear that you're going to ruin everything is definitely a mindset that will not serve you well in college and in life. Like I said earlier, you want to make sure that you're taking risk and you're learning from the mistakes that you're going to make in college. Being perfect is not possible. Being perfect is not a standard that you can attain. So give yourself some leeway and some fun while you're in college. And we'll get into that a little bit later. This is another quote that I wanted to share with you by Longfellow, for those of you who are English majors. I'm an English major. So youth, hope, and love, to build a new life on a ruined life, to make the future fairer than the past, and to make the past appear a troubled dream. So it's important to understand, and I'm going to keep repeating this, that when you're in college, you're going to make mistakes. And the point is that you need to learn from the mistakes. It's not going to ruin everything. Part of the experience or part of the process of going to college and being out on your own in a safe environment is that you're going to make mistakes. Everything is not going to be perfect. And when mistakes do happen, it'll not ruin the whole of your life. You'll not make a decision in college likely that's going to ruin the rest of your life. So be at ease with that. The other fear that we're going to talk about is the fear of taking responsibility. And this is another big one for college students, especially if we haven't reached a maturity level or we haven't had to take responsibility before in our lives. The fear of taking responsibility can lead to this. That's blame. So you're blaming others for why you didn't do well on the test. Like I said earlier, the professor didn't like me, or perhaps you're online this semester. The professor doesn't know how to teach on Zoom. The professor assigns too much work. But if you take responsibility, if you're accountable for what you can change in this situation, for example, if it's past the add drop period or past the withdrawal period in your semester, it's not likely that the professor is going to change. So what you can focus on is what you can do to make your semester more successful. For example, taking accountability. Are you doing all that you need to do in order to be successful in college? If you are getting grades that are not indicating that you're doing well in the class, are you actually reading the textbook? Are you doing the assignments? If you're online, are you listening to the lectures that are pre-recorded? Are you doing the work? If there's tutoring, are you going to tutoring? Are you visiting office hours? In what ways can you be accountable and take responsibility for your grades or for whatever else is going wrong in which you're pointing the finger and blaming others? So this is an important skill that we need to learn as emerging adults, as we become adults, how to take responsibility, how to take charge of our own learning, how to take charge of reaching our goals. So that is the third fear that I wanted to talk about. So the next fear that I wanted to talk about, and it's the last fear in my set today, is the fear of regret. And rather than a quote for this fear, I wanted to talk about this book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying. And I thought it was so pertinent. And if you want to go out and read this one, either on break or, for your own self-improvement or self-development, then I definitely highly recommend it. So this book was written and it's based off of interviews and experience that the author had with living with people who were in hospice, people who were on the verge of death. And these were the 5 things that these elderly people or old people had, and she created a book out of it based off of those interviews. So let's look at all 5 of these. And even though these are people who are up in age, I think it's important for you as a college student to understand what are some of the regrets that people who are older have, so that, when you get to that age, you don't have these same regrets. You can start working on these now so you don't have these same regrets when you get old. And the first regret is, I wish I had let myself be happier. So we talked about earlier, for those who are suffering with the fear of making sure everything is perfect, making sure you don't make mistakes, you want to make sure that you have a balance. One of the top things that make people happy in life is friendships. And we're going to talk about that with another regret. You want to make sure that you're making friends in college. You want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're getting enough sleep, that you're getting your proper diet. You're going to make sure that you're doing things that can be fun on campus. So whether you are, have to social distance because of COVID and you are not able to congregate in large groups, you can still have fun in college. You can definitely have virtual fun, Zoom chats, Zoom Zoom events with your friends. You can play games on Zoom. There are so many different things. You can also meet with small groups. You can college or university can have student organizations in which are hosting activities. Your college or university has opportunities for you to have game night, for you to have social events, for you to connect with people that are your age, for you to engage with people, for you to have fun. So what is fun for you? Figuring out what's fun for you, making time in your schedule for having fun. When I am talking to students who are experiencing the online campus this semester, they have expressed, I go to school, I study, I do my work, I do my reading, and I go to sleep, and that's all I do. They're not making any time for fun. They're just burning themselves out. They're working and focused on, making sure they get the good grades, but they're not making time and making a point, taking a responsibility for having fun. So the second regret that she wrote about in the book was, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. So this can be in romantic relationships, whether you are talking or interested in someone on campus and you don't have the courage or confidence to tell them how you feel. If you have a friendship that you want to turn into something more. So it can be a romantic relationship, or it can be a toxic friendship that you're having with someone, or toxic friendship or a family member who, you're not expressing the fact that they are hurting your feelings or they're making you feel uncomfortable or whatever the issue is. Being sure to express how you feel and to communicate how you're feeling to others is an important part or important lesson or regret that many people have in life. And if you are communicating with people your true feelings, how you feel, and what you need, then it is a highly important lesson for you to learn earlier in life rather than later. The third regret that she talks about in the book is, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. And we talked about that earlier with balance. It is so hard to have the 4.0. It is so hard. And it's even harder if you're not taking care of yourself. Sleep is one of the number one factors that students who aren't successful or who have mental health issues or who have challenges, self-care challenges in college. You want to have a balance. You have so much that I know is going on when you're in college. You have to do your work. You may have an actual job. You have to make sure you have time for fun. You have to make sure you're making connections. You have to go to class. I know that there's so much that you have to do, but you want to schedule time for having fun. Working hard is not going to help you reach your goals. Not many jobs are looking at your GPA for your hiring purposes. There are so many other factors that they're looking at with regard to you being hired when you are looking for an internship, when you're looking for a job after college. So working hard, studying all the time, focusing on your classes all the time is not going to lead to your results that you want after graduation. So working hard, that is the, I believe, third or fourth regret. Then the next regret we have is, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And again, these are all interrelated. These are so important. So your friends from high school, if you're a freshman, or your friends that you've made in college, making sure you're keeping time, you're maintaining your relationships, you're building relationships with these new people, you're making sure that you're engaging, you're being a true friend, being there when you're needed. So being supportive. So you want to make sure that you're making time and you're keeping the friendships that you have. It's so important, specifically in college, for college students, that the friendships that you have in college can last for a lifetime. And those connections and relationships that you make in college can perhaps in your career be fruitful and fulfilling. They can help you, for example, if you have a roommate who you've stayed in touch with, One of the wonderful things about college is that you have access to people from different backgrounds that you may not have had, from your hometown. You have people from different countries, you have people with different interests, you have different people with different capabilities that you may not have had. You could be going to college with the next person who's going to be the founder of the next AI company, or the next biotechnology company, or the next engineering or business startup that's going to be highly successful. So it's so important to maintain these relationships and to make time to forge these new relationships with all the people that you're going to be exposed to in college. So, how do you use all of this information to have your fears not hold you back from being successful in college and in life? So let's go over a few ways that you can do that, or a few things that I've mentioned that I'm going to reiterate in this video. So number one, you need to stay focused on your goals. So no matter what obstacles come in your way, no matter what mistakes you may have in college, you know that if you focus on your goals, the key to success is not how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up. So the key to your success is that if you stay focused on your goals, even if you make mistakes, even if you have regrets, even if you're rejected, that you have to keep going, you have to persevere, you have to press on. So if you stay focused on your goals, that will help you relay your fears. Also, you want to learn from the mistakes and failures. Doing the same thing over and over again is not going to teach you, or you're not going to learn from that. So if you've learned, especially one of the things that I like to teach my students or share with my students at midterm is that, if you're not happy with your midterm grades, you need to learn from the mistakes. Those tests and exams or projects or feedback, whatever feedback you've got from your professor, you need to do something differently. If your professor is saying that your essays are in need of more development and you don't know how to do that, go to a writing tutor. Go to the office hours to see specifically what the feedback is. You need to make some changes. So if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're going to repeat them over and over again. So using these failures or these mistakes or these lessons from these fears that you've had coming to fruition is important for you to learn from them and to make improvements, make adaptations, change what you're doing, change it up, try something new. Connect with someone new so that they can help you. Ask for help when you need it. So that's an important thing. The third thing that is going to be important for you is to recognize your fears as fears. Oftentimes, our fears are, as I said, stories that we make up in our head about what's really going on, when in reality is not the fact of what's going on. We could be over catastrophizing. We could be trying to be perfect. We could be thinking that the professor doesn't like us, or that person doesn't like us, when we haven't really communicated what our feelings are and we haven't really gotten the honest, true answer from that person. So knowing that all of this is oftentimes fears or limiting beliefs that we have in our heads, or the self-doubt or the imposter syndrome, can help you when you're dealing with it. So recognize that, okay, this is something that I'm afraid of. This is something that I'm scared of, but it's okay. I'm going to do it anyway, because at no other point in my life am I going to have this opportunity. So you want to take risk and you want to do all that you can so that you can be successful. And the last part of how to overcome your fears is to, like I said, know that it's part of the process. There are definitely going to be scary times or fearful times during your life. And if you're afraid of them, it's not going to get you anywhere. You have to face your fears and move on. So if you are interested in a specific strategy for how you can actually work through your fears in college and in life, I have a free download. It's a 2-pager. So it'll walk you through all of the things, all the questions that you should ask yourself, all of the things that you should keep in mind as you're struggling with these fears that are common, that are normal, that many people face. And it'll help you because, like I said, it's usually a mindset issue that is fear. And once you have a plan and a strategy for facing the fear and you've addressed the fear, that'll usually help you overcome that fear. So if you're interested in that free download, just check the link below and you can access it from my website, collegesuccessprofessor.com. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you've gotten a lot of value and information. I will continue to keep these videos coming. I will continue to share my knowledge and information with you. And my goal is to help you to graduate on time and on purpose from college so that you can live the life that you deserve. Thanks for watching.